One of the coolest things about MMA are the different combinations of striking and grappling arts each fighter brings to the table. In this video, we highlight the strikers. This is Knuckle Up Fight TV, and here are our top 10 high-level strikers in MMA. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to Knuckle Up Fight TV. At number 10, we have Michael Venom Page. He currently fights for Bellator's welterweight division, has a karate and kickboxing background, and he fights out of London Shoot Fighters in London, England. Growing up in a family full of martial artists, Page dominated competition and was scouted for the Taekwondo Olympic team, but pursued professional MMA instead. With a style that's not only elusive and unorthodox, but involves pinpoint precision, his fights usually end in a highlight KO. Now holding a 17-1 MMA record with only 3 decisions, as well as a couple of boxing knockouts, Page is must-see TV. I know I speak for most when I say, we can't wait to see what's next for MVP. At number 9, we have Raphael Ataman Faksaev. He currently fights for the UFC's lightweight division. His striking background is Muay Thai, and he fights out of Tiger Muay Thai in Phuket, Thailand. Faksaev grew up training martial arts in Kazakhstan, and shortly after college and becoming a police officer, he pursued a professional fighting career. With over 200 amateur and around 50 professional Muay Thai fights, his striking is a notch above most. He is known for having an exciting aggressive style, KO power, and entering the matrix when leaning back and avoiding his opponent's attacks. Faksaev is also one of current UFC bantamweight champion Peter Yan's sparring partners and coaches at Tiger. Keep an eye out for his next fight. They are all action-packed with aggressive, flawless Muay Thai technique. At number 8, we have Joanna Jedrzejczyk. She currently fights for the UFC Women's Strawweight division. Her striking background is Muay Thai, and she fights out of American Top Team in Coconut Creek, Florida. Joanna started Muay Thai at 16, and under the tutelage of Ernesto Hoost, she developed an aggressive, high-volume striking style. This led to a Muay Thai and kickboxing career with 6 world championships and many other titles. In 2012, she made her MMA debut, and in 2014, she signed with the UFC. Less than a year later, Joanna won the title and had 5 successful title defenses. Still in the UFC and in title contention, she is one of the top high-level strikers in MMA today. Earlier this year, she fought for the title and lost via split decision in what could be Fight of the Year. At number 7, we have Gabriel Varga. He currently fights for Bellator's MMA and kickboxing featherweight divisions. He has a Shotokan karate and kickboxing background, and he fights out of Varga Bros Martial Arts in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Varga is the current Bellator kickboxing featherweight champion. His impressive resume also includes winning the Glory Featherweight Championship twice, and he also has a win over Muay Thai legend Lerd Sila at the K1 World Grand Prix. With a high volume of strikes and an incredible pace, Varga is one of the most exciting strikers to watch. We look forward to seeing his next fight, whether it's MMA or kickboxing. For some reason, he is often overlooked in the discussion of top high-level strikers currently in MMA. At number 6, we have Cosmo Goodboy Alexander. He currently fights for One Championship's kickboxing and MMA welterweight divisions. Cosmo has a Muay Thai and kickboxing background, and he fights out of Evolution MMA in Florida. With 4 kickboxing world championships and 3 Muay Thai world championships, Cosmo is one of the higher decorated strikers in MMA. Turning pro in 2004, Cosmo has fought top-tier competition and has over 90 kickboxing fights. He started his MMA career fighting for Bellator, and he currently has an 8-1 record. Recently signing a new deal with One Championship, we will be seeing plenty of more action involving Cosmo Alexander. At number 5, we have Valentina Shevchenko. She currently fights for the UFC, and she's the champion of the women's flyweight division. Valentina has a background in Muay Thai and kickboxing, and she fights out of Tiger Muay Thai in Phuket, Thailand, under the guidance of longtime coach Pavel Fedotov. Valentina is a 17-time world champion in Muay Thai and kickboxing, and she began training Muay Thai and competing at 12. She went on to win more than 50 matches up to 2015, becoming one of the top Muay Thai fighters in the world. Shevchenko had her UFC debut in 2015, and since, she's looked unstoppable. She won the belt in 2018, and she's the current reigning defending champion. With a style that's so precise and technical, it's hard to see anyone getting past the bullet anytime soon. At number 4, we have Raymond "The Real Deal" Daniels. He currently fights for Bellator's kickboxing and MMA welterweight divisions, and he's the current Bellator kickboxing welterweight champion. Raymond has a background in Kempo, Shotokan, Taekwondo, and he fights out of World Champion Karate in California. With over 10 world championships, Raymond Daniels has been dominant in sports karate. He also dominated the Chuck Norris World Combat League, and in 2013, he joined Glory Kickboxing. Highlight reel after highlight reel, with flashy kicks and pinpoint accuracy, Daniels makes it look easy. In 2016, he signed with Bellator, and he's been dominant in every fight. We all hope he fights again soon. It will most likely be a highlight reel knockout. At number 3, we have Israel "The Last Stylebender" Adesanya. He currently fights for the UFC, and he's the current middleweight champion. Adesanya's background is kickboxing and boxing, and he fights out of City Kickboxing in Auckland, New Zealand. His resume includes 80 kickboxing fights, winning the King in the Ring Last Man Standing tournament, which was 9 fights in 3 days, and he was a top contender in Glory Kickboxing. Having an undefeated record in MMA, he had his UFC debut in early 2018. Adesanya went on a tear and became champion in a little over a year. The way his high-level striking has transitioned over to MMA has so far been the best. He sets traps and makes some of the top fighters in MMA look like amateurs. The way he's performed, it's hard seeing Adesanya getting dethroned anytime soon. At number 2, we have Dej Damrong Jedrzejczyk. He currently fights for One Championship's MMA strawweight division, which he is the former champion of. Dej Damrong's background is Muay Thai, and he fights out of Evolve MMA in Singapore. With a resume of over 350 fights, including being 3-time Lumpini Stadium champion, he is the most decorated Muay Thai fighter in MMA. In 2014, he had his MMA debut for One Championship and eventually went on to win the belt. No longer champion, he's still a top contender in the strawweight division. Hopefully, we get to see Dej Damrong showcase some more high-level Muay Thai before year's end. At number 1, we have Alex Poatan Pereira. He fights for Glory Kickboxing, and he is the current middleweight and light heavyweight champion. Pereira's background is boxing and kickboxing, and he fights out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, under trainer Vinicius Revolta. In 2012, he started fighting in Brazil for World Grand Prix Kickboxing. Then, in 2014, he fought for Glory Kickboxing, and he's been unstoppable ever since. With a resume of over 40 kickboxing wins, a KO win over UFC champion Adesanya, and being the first ever double Glory champion, Pereira is considered one of the scariest strikers in the world. Hopefully, we see him in a top MMA organization soon. His last MMA fight was in 2016. That wraps up our top 10 high-level strikers in MMA. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, hit the like button, and stay tuned for what's next from Knuckle Up Fight TV.